In this video, we're going to talk about different ways you can create motivational content where people say, I'm ready to go. Let's go get it, son. What?
How'd you do that?
I see that success is not something you pursue. It is something you are.
Let's talk about creating motivational content, the type of content where you create this stuff, you build a following, and eventually people want to hire you. So let's talk about just creating some motivational content. And here's what I do, and these are just different examples of things you can do. So just recently, actually, me and a guy named John, we went out just around Las Vegas, and we were just filming. So, we were filming, taking pictures and all sorts of stuff. That way, I can actually use this stuff to create other pictures and other motivational content later on. So as we were walking, I told him just, hey, here, use my camera, just click record, and he would just film me walking, and I'm just walking. That's it. I'm just walking, and at any moment, I can just take a screenshot of any moment in this footage, in this video that he's filming, and I can just post, like some text on there, some motivational text or something at any moment. And so what you can think in terms of creating your motivational content is, how are you going to get this content? Like, what are some different ways you can get this content? Just like how me and the guy John went out and I was recording all this stuff, you can do something very similar. So here are different ways that you can do. So first thing is you take a screenshot of the video footage of you on stage or you just anywhere. So any type of video footage you have, just take a screenshot of it, add some text on there, some motivational text, and poof, it just looks good. It just looks nice. Another thing, just walk around town, just like how I just talked about where we just walked around and he just recorded. Another thing that you can do is just write down quotes. So I write down quotes on my phone. So I got the Notes app on here, and I'll just write down quotes on here. So whenever I'm listening to an audiobook, I'm reading a book, or something just pops up in my head, I'll say, okay, cool. And then bam, I'll write down a quick note in here like, oh, ambition, turn up the ambition, and I'll write it down. And then later on, I have all these quotes inside my Notes app. That way, when I have the pictures and I have the footage and all that, I can just take a screenshot, take one of these pictures, and put one of those quotes on the picture. So that's another thing. Another thing you can do is just hire a professional photographer. Just hire a professional photographer, use those pictures to put a quote or some type of really cool saying on top of that picture and post it all over the place, obviously. Another thing that you can do is just find a really cool place to take these pictures, or a really cool place to take video footage. Like, I live in a high rise, so I actually have some really cool shots that I can get from this high rise. You can just think in terms of high rise. You can think in terms, maybe you're in a place where there's like cool graffiti at some spot near you or wherever. So just think in terms of finding really cool places that you can take some shots at. And then just take shots of yourself with a remote. So maybe you don't have someone with you all the time. I got this remote here. This remote's freaking cool. It starts and stops a DSLR camera, so I don't have to keep getting up anymore. If I want to take pictures, I can just press a button, just bam, and it just takes a picture. So you can get a remote for your camera to just do it all for you. So you don't need someone to be with you all the time. But really, you can essentially just use some B-roll footage. If you have any B-roll footage, and B-roll footage, by the way, is just footage where you're not really doing anything. It's just footage. And so you can just take some B-roll footage and use that to create some really cool motivational content. And really, don't forget to promote your content. There's so many people out there who create Facebook Live videos, they create YouTube videos, they create all this stuff, but they forget to freaking promote it. You can have the greatest content in the world. You can create Facebook Live videos every single day. But if you do not promote, if you do not get your name out there, if you don't constantly promote your content, nobody knows you exist. And so you always got to promote. Creating content is really easy. Everybody's creating content. Promoting it is harder. So you got to ask yourself, you're creating these Facebook Live videos, you're creating YouTube videos, you got a podcast, whatever you're doing, you're creating content. How are you going to promote it? Are you going to contact other podcasters to get on their podcast? Are you going to do prospecting to actually get on stages? How are you promoting your content? Don't just create some cool pictures, post them on Facebook, like, I'm done for the day. Cool. I'm good to go. That's all the work I need. Don't do that. Freaking promote your freaking content. So that's how I work on my motivational content. That's the content that I'm creating. That's how my mind works in terms of anything can be like motivational content. You can take anything, no matter what it is. You can kind of make it look good with some photo apps. You can just make it look good, put a really cool quote on it, and bam, you're good to go. And then just remember, please, please, please freaking remember, always promote yourself, no matter what. Inbound marketing does not replace outbound. I'm telling you that right now. It does not replace outbound marketing. You can create all the content in the world, but if you are not constantly prospecting, if you are not constantly reaching out to people, you will not have a business, you will not generate revenue. So just make sure that with all the motivational content you create, make sure you still prospect, you still produce revenue, and you make that moolah. Make that money, 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 make that money. And now I get to stop this with a simple remote.